I shouldn't have found this. It was 3 in the morning and I was mindlessly scrolling through YouTube in my bed, but then a strange video popped up in my feed. The title was pretty vague and the thumbnail unedited, but something about it caught my attention. I clicked on it, and I really wish I hadn't, because this one decision would eventually lead us down a deep, dark rabbit hole. One ending with a player going insane and eventually disappearing from the internet. What happened to this player? Why did he seemingly vanish without a trace? We must find out. But before that, we must start where this all began. It all started with the first episode of 9, simply titled A Fresh Start. The player, Malum 6x3, had just began a new survival world and wanted to record his gameplay to post online. I'm gonna be starting a new Let's Play series. It will be fun, I think. Malum introduces us to his new world before saying that he'll be going off to get some materials. He chops down a tree and crafts some wooden tools before mentioning that he asked his friend to play with him, but he said he was too busy. Malum then proceeds to kill some animals, craft stone tools, and mine some coal ore before ending the first episode by collecting flowers. And honestly, episode 1 was fairly normal, nothing too out of the ordinary, so I clicked right on to the next one, episode 2, Exploring the New World. The second video began just like the first. Malum now had a few more resources and states that he's going to be trying to make some more progress this episode. He mines more wood, kills more pigs, before crafting a boat and sailing through the river in hopes of finding something cool. After rowing for a bit, he finally comes to land, and after searching for a bit, finds a cherry grove biome, which excites him as he's never actually seen one before. He talks about how happy he is and collects some more flowers before ending the episode. And similar to episode 1, this second video didn't really seem that interesting either. But surprisingly, that would all change in the next video, episode 3. Oddly enough, the third episode was posted a full 2 months after the previous ones, with the title reflecting that, being called Sorry for the Long Break, I'm Back. Naturally curious about why Malum had taken such a long break, I started watching the video to find out more. Episode 3 began with Malum greeting us, followed by the explanation for his lengthy hiatus. Hey guys, sorry for the long break. I've been dealing with some real life stuff recently and been pretty busy, but anyways, I'm back. Now, weirdly enough, his explanation for why he's been gone was pretty vague. He didn't really give us any information on why he's actually been away, besides for just saying he's been dealing with some things in real life. And unfortunately, with no other information, we really can't know for sure why he's been absent. So I continued on watching the video in hopes of coming across any new details that would help us in solving this mystery. And it really seemed like we weren't going to find anything else. He would spend the next few minutes killing tons of animals for food, but after realizing that he had no fuel to cook the food with, began traveling down a cave in hopes of finding coal. But this was when something straight up weird happened. You see, after going down the cave, Malum would find some iron ore sticking out of the wall. And after mining it, he would continue on deeper down the cave, and eventually he came across some coal to smelt his food with. So he began to walk towards it, but then, out of nowhere, Malum took a small stumble back. And then, he froze. He just stood, perfectly still, just staring at the coal ore. And he would remain like this for a solid 5 minutes straight. It was only when a zombie slowly crept over and started to attack him, where he suddenly snapped out of this trance-like state back to reality. And after killing the zombie, he quickly mined the coal and rushed back up to the surface, with the episode ending only after he finally cooked his food. And obviously, like many of you, I was left completely baffled after watching this. Why did Malum suddenly just freeze up out of nowhere? What could have caused him to do this? I began watching back episode 3, looking for any clues or hints in the video that I might have somehow missed, but there was nothing. Nada. Zilch. And now, feeling more lost than ever, decided that I must continue on with the story. So I clicked on to episode 4, Building My House. Episode 4 started like any other. He begins the video by welcoming us back to the series, then says what his plans are for the episode. Today I'm gonna finally build a base. I'm surprised I made it this far without one. He walks a few blocks before pausing again, saying he needs to get a few more materials first. He begins heading down a hill to collect more sand near the riverbank, and after a few minutes, finally says he thinks he has everything he needs to begin building. So he travels back up the hill in order to craft all the materials that he'll need for his house. And it was around here when something a little odd happened. As Malum was getting all the items ready that he would be needing, he was about to take out some green dye which he had smelting in a furnace. But after opening it, he immediately closed it and began walking away. And what's even stranger is that after just a few seconds, he would turn back around to grab the green dye. And honestly, I really don't know why he did this. It honestly could have just been a mistake, and it probably was. So I just kept it in the back of my mind and continued on watching. Following this, Malum would go on to craft a few more materials for his base, including a concoction of black, white, and cyan concrete powder, and after heading back to the water to harden it all, would finally begin construction on his house. He began building his house by starting with the cyan walls, an odd choice for a starter base, but it was clear that he had obviously put some thought into the design beforehand, making sure every block was placed perfectly just where he liked it. Malum's house consisted of bright cyan walls, long twisting hallways leading to his room, a checkerboard pattern floor, a disorganized storage system, and a single painting hanging just above his white bed. And after just 10 minutes, he finally placed the last block to his house, the door. After finishing construction, Malum would go on to celebrate his new house, talking about how much he loves it and calling it perfect, before the 4th episode would ultimately end with Malum going to bed inside his new base. And quite frankly, this would mark the last normal episode before things quickly became terrifying. Episode 5, titled Looking for Diamonds, began relatively ordinary. Malum would start the episode as usual by greeting the audience, then would state his plans for the day. Today I'm going to try finding diamonds. I was on Reddit earlier and saw that the best Y level to find diamonds is -58. Malum would then immediately start digging straight into the ground towards Y-58, with his camera jittery with what seemed like excitement. After digging down for a few minutes, he would finally reach the correct Y level, typing, "I'm at Y equals -58 now, I'm going to strip mine." Malum would go on to strip mine for a couple of minutes looking for diamonds, but then something strange happened. After a few minutes of digging straight ahead, Malum would go on to abruptly jolt his camera to the left to begin tunneling a new direction. Which was odd, but hey, maybe it was just his intuition trying to lead him towards diamonds. But then, strangely enough, after just another couple of seconds of mining, Malum would, once again, sharply turn his camera towards a new direction. This time, his camera movements more jittery, like he was nervous. And after yet another few seconds, Malum would ultimately repeat the cycle once more by sharply jolting his camera towards the right. But this time around, he would, oddly enough, begin mining horizontally, almost like he was trying to find something. And after a few seconds of mining, something incredibly bizarre happened. After a few seconds of mining diagonally, Malum would eventually uncover some coal ore hidden within the deep slate. And after noticing it, he stumbled back, just staring at it for a few seconds. But then, after a few seconds of silence, it was like something suddenly snapped within him. He instantly began covering up the coal and then frantically started blocking up the twisted tunnels which he had dug out, trying to cover any trace left behind, like he was trying to hide the evidence as if he was never there. Eventually, he reached the point where he initially started and began tearing up the hole where he dug down from, anxiously trying to escape from something. And then the episode ended. This was bone-chilling. The episode began relatively normal, but then Malum, out of nowhere, suddenly started sprinting away, covering up his trails. It was as if someone was chasing him, but there was no one there. I now had a million questions racing through my mind. How will Malum act in the next episode? Will we find out what caused him to act like this? Just why was he acting so peculiar? And now, left more puzzled than ever, I hesitantly decided to click onto the 6th episode, desperate for answers. Episode 6, titled Trees and Animals, began differently than usual. Malum opened the episode in his base, but this time there is no greeting, not a single word. After exiting his base, he headed straight for a forest. After arriving, he began chopping down a tree, and then another one, and then another one. For the whole episode, Malum would spend his time cutting down every single tree he saw, combined with killing literally every animal that crossed his path. And oddly enough, as the episode went on, his movements only became more erratic, frantic, as if he was nervous, and he would continue this destructive pattern of cutting down trees and killing animals until his axe broke. And as he began heading back to his base, he noticed a small patch of flowers, much like episode 1. But oddly enough, this time he would only pick up the red ones. After arriving back at his base, he would enter through the door, but instead of following the corridor leading to his room, which he'd usually do, he instead just mined a hole through the wall straight into his room, avoiding the tunnels entirely. And then the video ended. Why didn't he go through the hallway, opting to break a part of his house instead? And it was here when I realized that Malum didn't say a single word throughout the whole episode, not one message, which was definitely weird to say the least. Up until this point, Malum has always typed in the game chat, but why not now? Could this all somehow be connected to what happened in the previous episode? In hopes of actually finding an answer this time, I immediately went on to the 7th episode, titled Cave Exploration. And this was the strangest one yet. Episode 7 once again started inside his base. This time while leaving his base, we can briefly see that Malum had oddly enough blocked off the original pathway leading to his room with cobblestone. This was definitely bizarre, however I really didn't know what to think about it yet. After exiting his base, he finally types his first message in a while. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm going to get more stuff. Returning to the same forest from the last episode, we can now see that there is not a single tree left standing. He clearly did more work off camera, but then, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted an exposed cave. He began carefully traversing his way down it. After reaching the bottom, he eventually hit a dead end, but this was where something incredibly disturbing happened. After reaching the dead end, he immediately, without hesitation, began desperately trying to escape. His movements now more erratic than ever, his camera shaking like an earthquake. He feverishly began placing blocks under himself, trying to tower up, to escape. Once reaching the surface, he hurriedly blocked off the entrance of the cave, shaking with every block. He then began sprinting back to his base as if he was late for something important. And this wasn't even the weirdest part of the episode. After arriving back at his base, he spontaneously began destroying his house, mining everything, block for block. He started with the cyan walls, then the roof, making his way down to the checkerboard floor. He destroyed every single block, ending with the door. It was now pitch black out, and Malum would spend the remainder of the episode just staring at what he had done, and then the video ended. This was the most peculiar episode yet. Every aspect of it was just filled with mystery. 1. Why did Malum block off the tunnel in his house? 2. What caused his outlandish reaction in the cave? And 3. Why did he suddenly destroy his entire base? I feel like with each mystery we're trying to solve, several new ones emerge. So on the edge of my seat, pleading for answers, I continued on to episode 8, titled Reinvention. And this one was just odd. The 8th episode began normally enough. Malum was in a boat, traveling down the river. I'm gonna make a new base, kinda restarting things, new scenery. After reaching the shore, Malum hopped out of the boat and began traversing up the rough terrain. After a couple minutes of traveling, he finally reached a spot he liked. This place seems good. After crafting a few new items such as a diamond sword, iron hoe, and shears, he began exploring around the new area. He bred some chickens, sheared some sheep, and finally began construction of his new base. And at first, everything seemed normal, but maybe it was too normal. Malum's new base was built out of wood, had windows and an iron door. He finished off his base by adding a small wheat farm just outside and ended construction by saying how much he liked it. But then he said, I'm gonna go exploring the new area real quick. And he didn't know it yet, but this one decision would quickly become his worst mistake yet. After heading up the mountains, he took one more good look at his new base and began setting off. Maybe I'll find a village or something cool. However, after looking around for a few minutes, he still didn't find anything. I don't know if there's anything here. Saying that he's probably gonna go back and continue working on his new base. But right as he began heading back, he accidentally stumbled upon something. The place where his old base once sat. You could still see the exact spot it stood, marked by the impression in the ground. And he stood there, frozen, just staring at the past in front of him. And he would stand there, completely still, not moving a muscle for a solid 10 minutes straight. And that was until the episode ultimately ended. And honestly, this was just the saddest episode of them all. It had become painfully clear that Malum wasn't just wandering, he was trying to escape something. And for a brief moment, it seemed like he might actually succeed. After everything, he was finally starting to seem normal again, like the weight had started to lift off his shoulders. But then, by sheer accident, he stumbled across the ruins of his old base, a place he probably didn't even realize was so close. It was like opening a door he thought he'd locked forever. And just like that, all the progress he made began to unravel. And this was when I realized that there was only one more video in the series, episode 9. And weirdly, this one didn't have a title. There was no clues, no hints, nothing to prepare us for what was about to come. So reluctantly, I clicked, my heart racing with anticipation. And to put it lightly, this was horrifying. Episode 9 started instantly. It began with Malum running through a forest as if something was chasing him. The splatters of rain and flashes of thunder illuminating the dark sky. His camera movement was now very erratic and jittery, as if he was shaking in real life. He frantically traversed up a hill, noticing a small patch of flowers before continuing his panicky escape. He ran by trees, taking fall damage every few steps, unsure of which direction to go. It was then where he spotted an exposed cave on the surface. Without a second thought, he began traversing his way down, losing tons of health in the process. After reaching a dead end at the bottom, he began digging inside the cave walls, tunneling. Every few steps he would block off where he came from, as if he was trying to cover his trail. He went up, he went down, he went left, right. He dug in all directions, just like a maze. It was disorienting. He would continue digging, chipping away at every block, getting deeper and deeper within the walls of the cave until his pickaxe broke. Initially, he froze, but then he started slowly panning around the room, taking in everything that had just occurred. He would go on to type just one more final message before the episode ended, staring deeply into the camera. I am Malum. And this was the last episode Malum ever posted to his channel. No other videos, no bio, not even a profile picture. There was nothing. He seemingly vanished off the internet after this final video. But why? And most importantly, for what reason was he acting just so strange? Is his disappearance somehow connected to all these weird things happening in his world? His erratic movements, the tunnels, the caves, destroying his base, randomly freezing for minutes on end. Is all of this, in one way or another, somehow connected? I felt like this mystery was pulling me deeper and deeper in. I had to find out what happened to Malum following his disappearance. And prepare yourselves, because this story is only just beginning. I decided that to start my investigation, I would begin looking back at all the episodes he posted in hopes of coming across any clues or details I might have missed the first time around. And for the first few episodes, I didn't find anything particularly extraordinary. Sure, there were some odd moments like when he suddenly froze mid-game just staring blankly at the screen, but nothing we hadn't already seen before. Nothing useful. Nothing that could actually move us forward. And that was when I realized that if we were going to find a real lead, something that actually mattered, we would have to dig a lot deeper than surface level. And that's when I found something in episode 5. Something that changed everything. You see, at first it didn't seem like there would be anything too useful here, but then I remembered something crucial. While Malum was typing out his message going over his plans for the episode, he mentioned something very specific. Today I'm going to try finding diamonds. I was on Reddit earlier and saw the best Y level to find diamonds is -58. This one clue may finally help us in putting an end to this mystery. Did you catch it? You see, in Malum's message, he briefly mentions that he was on Reddit earlier that day while looking for the best Y level to find diamonds on. Chances are, if Malum was on Reddit, he most likely has a Reddit account. And if he does, it would open up possibilities to find out more about him, and maybe, just maybe, what happened to him after he vanished. But then, I came to a depressing realization. When you Google the phrase best Y level for diamonds, the first result that comes up is a Reddit post. This means that there's a very high chance Malum was simply searching on Google, came across that post, and didn't even need a Reddit account to view it. Which means that this whole thing might have been for nothing. So overflowing with anticipation at this point, I reluctantly closed out of the video and navigated my way towards Reddit, hoping that we would actually discover an account belonging to Malum. So I anxiously typed in his username, Malum6x3, into the search bar and pressed enter. And to my astonishment, I actually found it. We found Malum's Reddit account. So filled with more excitement than ever, I clicked onto his profile. And I didn't know it yet, but this is where things would become downright nightmarish. You see, at first everything seemed completely normal. Towards the beginning of Malum's posting history, he frequently posted on the Minecraft subreddit, talking about the game and his new survival world. I started a new world on a random seed. Nothing crazy yet, got a little hill base going on and found the new cherry grove biome next to spawn, which is pretty sick. And he would continue posting about random stuff in the game, such as joking about how he hasn't played Minecraft in so long that he's forgotten how to play in post 2, and asking what the best way to find villages is in the 3rd. It wasn't until the 4th post that Malum said something that, at first, I brushed off. What's the best Minecraft server? Hey guys, what are some of your favorite Minecraft servers to play on? I used to play a lot with my friend Cole, but recently he's been busy and hasn't been on in a while. I used to play Hypixel a lot and it was always fun, but are there any others I should try out? Initially, I didn't think much of this post. Just Malum asking for some cool Minecraft servers to play on. He also mentions that he has a friend named Cole, but he's been pretty busy and doesn't have time to play anymore. Nothing seemed too off yet. Does anyone want to play any servers with me? Yo guys, I was just wondering if anyone would be down to join me or play any Minecraft servers with me, like Bed Wars or something. Friend me on Discord please, it will be fun. This post was basically just an ad Malum put out to make some new friends. It's now pretty clear that Malum is feeling pretty bored and maybe even lonely, especially since his friend Cole hasn't had any time to be on recently. Malum's just looking for anyone that would be willing to play with him, and by this point everything seemed relatively normal. But things would soon become very dark, very quickly. Why is my best friend ignoring me all of a sudden? Hey everyone, I have a problem. For the past couple of weeks, my friend Cole has been ignoring me. Whenever I text him back, he leaves me on red, he never calls me back, he doesn't even want to hang out anymore. I don't know what I could have done. I don't know why he's mad at me. I haven't been able to talk to him since last week, and even then he just brushed me off and didn't really talk much. I'm trying to figure out if it's something maybe I did or what. I'm pretty disappointed about it. He's been my best friend since like 3rd grade, lol. Anyways, can anyone please help me? Thanks. Now this post was actually pretty sad. Malum says that his best friend Cole has been ignoring him for weeks, and he has no idea why. He wonders if he might have done something wrong to upset him, but nothing comes to mind. We can tell this isn't usual behavior from Cole just by the way Malum is describing it. So it really makes us wonder, why is Cole acting like this? Obviously intrigued with this drama, I continued on to the next post for answers, but somehow it got even more confusing. Update from my last post. Thanks to everyone who replied to my last post. Soon after posting it, I was finally able to get into contact with my friend Cole. I tried to ask him if he was mad at me for any reason, and if that's why he hasn't been answering me, but all he told me was no, and that he's just been really busy with stuff in his life. I asked what exactly was taking up all of his time, but he kinda just dismissed my question. We still aren't talking as much as we used to, so I don't know if he's just lying to me or he's annoyed or what's going on. But he probably is just tired since he texted me back late at night. Now, this post was even more puzzling. Malum said that he was finally able to get into contact with Cole, but he was still acting very off, responding very shortly, not answering any questions. Why was Cole acting just so odd? It's clear that he's obviously trying to hide something from Malum, but what? Now, Malum did mention that Cole replied late at night, so he could have just been tired. However, I just don't think that's the case anymore. So hoping for some kind of explanation, I went straight to the next post. However, things only grew more perplexing. Do you guys think I'm just overreacting? Recently, my friend, Cole, hasn't been answering any texts or calls at all. I've been trying to reach out to him to ask him if he's mad at me or anything, and he just replies very shortly and curtly. This has been going on for at least a month at this point. I can tell something is wrong, and I don't know if it's maybe something I done or what. Am I just overreacting? If anyone has any thoughts on this, please let me know. Thank you. Malum then provided this screenshot of their text conversation.
Yo, Cole, what's up, bro? You haven't texted me back in a while. Everything good? Yo, Cole, you there?
Stop spamming me, please.
Oh, okay, sorry.
This post was unnerving. After a few months of not being able to contact his best friend, Malum finally got in touch with Cole, only to get a very short, almost passive-aggressive reply. Malum says he can tell something is wrong, but he just doesn't know what. So left with more questions than ever, I had to continue on to get to the bottom of this, but oddly enough, Malum actually took a 2-month break from Reddit before making its next post. the same exact amount of time as his break between episodes 2 and 3. And who knows, maybe it's just a coincidence, but something about it just doesn't sit right with me. Am I in the wrong for being furious? I don't even know how to explain it. I was just mad that Cole wasn't answering my text, but now I just feel, I don't know, off. Everything feels off. I'm still mad, but it's like, it doesn't even matter now. But it does matter. He wouldn't just ignore me like that, right? I just feel so angry and helpless, and I don't even know how to put it anymore. Am I wrong for being mad at him? Sorry. Now, this was incredibly odd. It's more obvious than ever now that Malum is becoming increasingly more affected by the fact that Cole isn't answering him. But why? Why is Malum just so angry? And why is he apologizing, saying he feels helpless? I feel like there's more to the story that we aren't seeing at the surface. Just why is Malum acting so peculiar? I decided just to continue right on to the next post before doing anything else to see where this was headed. Maybe I missed something. I don't even know what I'm doing writing this. It's not like it changes anything. I just keep thinking if I say the right thing or type it the right way, maybe it'll feel different. Maybe it will make sense. People keep saying stuff that doesn't help. Like they're trying to explain something they don't even understand, and I keep going over everything, like maybe I missed something. He should have texted or called. I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know how to feel right now. Maybe he just needed to get away for a while. Maybe he's just somewhere without service. At this point, it seems like Malum is just overreacting now, considering the fact that this whole reaction is simply just because his friend Cole hasn't texted him back. Who knows, maybe Cole has truly just been busy for the past few weeks and Malum is just being overdramatic. And this seems to be even more evident when you take a look at his next post, where Malum is still ranting about how furious and saddened he is by the fact that Cole hasn't talked to him. He's still acting over the top and even going as far as asking others if it's normal for him to be reacting this way. But that now leads us into an even bigger question. We still don't know exactly why Cole's not answering his phone, but just why is Malum reacting so intensely over it? I feel like each post we read just drags us further and further into the mystery, so I desperately clicked on to the next one. I needed answers. I'm going insane. I tried calling Cole 34 times yesterday. He didn't answer once. I don't know why I keep expecting a different outcome. It can't change. I call him, I text him, nothing. I don't even know why I do this anymore. I really don't. It seems that Cole not answering Malum's calls has completely ruined his life. Malum has been trying for months to get into contact with him now, and he fails each time. Malum even went as far as calling Cole a total of 34 times in a single day, but Cole didn't answer, not once. On one side of the story, Cole not answering a single call, let alone a message for multiple months is pretty absurd, but Malum's reaction to it is even crazier. And come on, it's not like Cole's dead or anything. He's just not answering his phone. Malum is completely overreacting. I can't keep it all in anymore. He's gone. He's gone. He did it. His cousin posted on his account. Cole killed himself. I don't even know how to process this anymore. I kept waiting for him to come back, like maybe he'd see my missed calls or texts and finally answer. And now, he never will. This is eating me alive. I should have done more, or said more, or been more. I don't know. I feel horrible. I just kept thinking about myself. How he didn't answer me. How he wasn't calling me back. I never thought about how he was feeling. Not once. If only I knew, I could have prevented it. I just wish I wasn't so selfish. This is all my fault. Cole is dead. I just couldn't believe it. This whole time, Malum's best friend has been dead. Cole killed himself. That must explain why Cole wasn't answering his phone at all. This whole time, unbeknownst to us or Malum, Cole was dealing with something much darker than we ever thought. Himself. And what's equally as sad is that Malum blames himself for all of this. I began looking back at all of his Reddit posts, trying to take it all in. And that's when I realized something even more depressing. From post number 9 and onwards, Malum knew that Cole was dead. He was just in denial. That explains everything. Why he said it doesn't even matter anymore, thinking that Cole must just be someone with no service. Why Malum said he's going insane. Malum has been grieving, and we just didn't know. I went on to look at his posts for maybe any updates. Hopefully he's been healing from this, but what I saw was just depressing. Posts saying that Cole just cannot be dead and that Malum doesn't believe it. Begging Cole to come back, saying that he can't stop thinking about him. Malum even posted about how he hasn't been able to sleep for the past 5 days. He just stays up at night, thinking, taking it all in. And that's when I stumbled upon truly one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever read. I killed my friend. I think it's my fault. Maybe I made Cole angry, Do you think I made him kill himself? Sorry, Cole. Come back. Please. Malum is still blaming himself after all this time. It's sad to see how much Malum is suffering from this, saying that maybe he made Cole angry and that's why he did what he did. I continued on to his next couple of posts. Maybe he's finally accepting it, but what I read was just tragic. No sleep in 8 days. I have not been able to sleep for 8 days. I'm awake all night, cannot do stuff anymore. My friend Cole, who is alive, is my best friend and invited me to his house. We're going to watch a movie. It will be fun. This was just devastating. Malum has been so crushed by the death of his best friend, so caught up in everything that he hasn't been able to go to sleep for the past 8 days. Not even for just one night. It was horrible. It's painfully clear just how much the lack of sleep is unraveling his life. His posts have grown increasingly erratic, barely legible, flooded with spelling errors and broken grammar. And that's when I realized that he only made one more post to Reddit before completely vanishing, gone from the internet without a single trace. Cole is alive. Malum is still deep in denial with no escape. It seems with this grief, combined with the lack of sleep, has made him, quite frankly, go insane. It's truly heartbreaking to see how much anguish the situation has caused him. And then he disappeared. And now, for the first time ever, I finally understood why Malum suddenly vanished out of nowhere. He was grieving. And as I was looking back at his old episodes he posted to his channel, I came to a gut-wrenching realization. Remember how Malum would be playing in his Minecraft world completely normal, but then, out of nowhere, would suddenly snap and just start sprinting in the opposite direction and act very strange? Well, I began looking back at each video one by one, hoping to maybe find some answers, a reason for this, and that's when it hit me. You see, in the first 2 episodes, Malum was normal. Nothing strange happened. He started his world, collected wood, mined for coal, iron, killed some animals. Everything was completely ordinary. But then, in episode 3, that's when everything started going downhill. And weirdly enough, episode 3 was uploaded after Malum's long break from the internet, April 7th, 2025. The same week Cole died. And episode 3 just so happened to be when Malum started acting different. It was around 3 minutes into the video. He was down in a cave looking for iron, nothing unusual. He mines what he needs and begins heading back up to the surface. But then, he notices something out of the corner of his eye. Coal ore. He stops. He doesn't move, doesn't speak, just stares at it for 5 whole minutes, like something short-circuited in his brain, like he wasn't even in the game anymore. Could it be that somehow, some way that this coal reminded him of his friend Cole? It sounds insane, but I had to be sure, so I kept watching, episode after episode, and there it was, every single time. In episode 4, when he's smelting dye for his house, he opens the furnace, sees the coal, and instantly clicks out of it, acting as if nothing had happened. Or later, when he's mining for diamonds, he accidentally uncovers a patch of coal, and he runs full sprint, like he just saw something he wasn't supposed to. He even blocks the tunnel behind him like he's trying to trap something in or keep it from following him. Every time Cole appeared, he didn't just act like he was scared by it, he acted like he was being hunted by it. This one moment explains everything. Malum wasn't just going crazy for no reason, he was drowning in grief. Every time he saw Cole ore, it must have reminded him of his best friend Cole. Not just the name, but everything they used to do together. It dragged those memories back up to the surface, memories he clearly wasn't ready to face. That's why he always ran. He was using Minecraft as an escape, but even there, he just couldn't find peace. It was heartbreaking. He was just haunted by grief. He was trapped in it. That's why Malum vanished from the internet, only leaving behind one final video. It was a cry for help, a last-ditch effort. We may never know what truly happened to Malum following his disappearance, but wherever he is now, I just hope that he finally found peace.